Sami Scribble's giant mistake. Sami Scribble lived for color. Her overalls were a map of every masterpiece she had ever made, covered in splats of sunshine yellow and berry red. Today was a perfect day for Rainbow Alley, the place where the pavement was her paper and her imagination was the ink. She gripped a piece of bright green chalk, ready to start. Sami began to draw. She started with a great big loop for a head and 2 pointy ears. Then came a long, bumpy back and 4 sturdy legs. "A dragon!" she whispered. She worked so hard that her tongue poked out of the corner of her mouth. The dragon grew bigger and bigger, stretching across the ground like a friendly giant. Dragon needed a tail, a magnificent, swirly, whirly tail. Sami didn't stop to look up. She scribbled and swirled, pushing her green chalk further and further. She hummed a little tune as the tail looped around a corner and up a small set of stone steps. It was the longest tail in the whole world. When Sami finally finished the last spike on the tail, she stood up and dusted off her knees. She took a deep breath and looked at her work. Her eyes went wide. The tail didn't just stop at the steps, it went right over the threshold and covered the bottom half of a neighbor's beautiful blue door in messy green zigzags. Inside the house, someone heard the chalk scratching. The blue door creaked open. Out stepped Mrs. Gable. She was wearing a neat apron and holding a watering can. She looked down at her door, and then she looked at the green chalk zigzags. Her eyebrows went up, and she let out a little gasp of surprise. Sami felt like hiding behind a trash can. Her heart went thump, thump, thump against her chest. But then she remembered what her mom always said: "A mistake is just a chance to do better." Sami took a brave step forward and looked up at her neighbor. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Gable," she said softly. "I didn't mean to color your door." Mrs. Gable looked at the giant dragon in the alley and then back at Sami. "It is a very impressive dragon," she said with a small smile. "But I do prefer my door to be blue." Sami nodded quickly. "I can fix it. I'll make it sparkle again." She ran to her house and came back with a big yellow bucket. Sami dipped her sponge into the bubbles and began to scrub. Splash, slosh, scrub. The green chalk turned into pale green water and ran down the steps. Mrs. Gable brought out a soft cloth to help dry the wood. Together, they worked until the door was as blue as a summer sky once again. "Thank you, Sami," Mrs. Gable said, patting her hair. "The door looks lovely." Sami looked at her chalk crate. She wanted to do one more thing to make it right. She picked up a bright yellow piece of chalk and a cheerful pink one. On the pavement right in front of the steps, she began to draw something new and special. When she was done, a beautiful welcome sign sat on the ground, surrounded by flowers and sunshine. Mrs. Gable clapped her hands in delight. Sami realized that while the dragon was cool, fixing her mistake made her feel even better. Honesty was the brightest color in her box, and it made the whole neighborhood shine.